Yes, welcome indeed to the Q3 video. Fucking hell, I've bitten off more than I can chew with this whole process, I can tell you. Good God. But it's Thursday here, so that means that I don't have to get up too early in the morning. I've been doing this whilst I've been going to work in the daytime. I record these videos at like 11, 11:30, 12:30, 1:30 at night. They take ages. But Q3 is a really interesting quarter. We've got some massive titles here. And of course, as per, I am sporting a Zelda Breath of the Wild t-shirt tonight. My mates are like, where did you get that from? Did you buy it at Virgin? I'm like, no. And they said, well, you look like one in it, which I didn't think was very funny, you know, when I take my gaming t-shirts quite seriously. But let's crack on. Patch cam, we're good, let's do this. As you probably saw from that little snippet at the start there, that Guacamelee 2's first up on the list. And again, I just repeat myself, if you know the channel, and if you know me, and you know that couch co-op gaming is very important, and it always is, and it's a great game for 4-player couch co-op, 2-player couch co-op. I'm actually loving it with single player. That's one thing I wanted to point out, is that when you play this game 4-player, it's fucking crazy, and you don't know what's going on. When you play it 2-player or even 1-player, you really start to gauge how good a platform it actually is, and things aren't as complicated, and you don't have to sort of work out who you are on the screen and stuff. You can really just get in to the game mechanics themselves without being disturbed by, you know, your mates just thinking they're you for 2 minutes, and they're not. They're in a pool of acid. They've been running left and right and not paying attention. Enough about my mates tonight. The game is beautiful. Colours, wow. The palettes, they are eye-poppingly gorgeous. I love what they did with the game. Now this is a Strange Brigade. Strange Brigade, because it kind of was a bit of a sleeper hit. It was made by Rebellion. It came out and didn't smash things, and I was really surprised at it, because there was very little rumblings about it. I remember IGN getting hold of like these weird screenshots and was like, what is Strange Brigade? Everyone was like, what is Strange Brigade? What is this? What's going on? What is it, Indiana Jones? Is it the Mummy? It's all of them. But one of the things it does so well, and you probably have seen it on the zombie videos, is the horde mode is fucking mind-blowing, and the weapons are brilliant. I love it to bits. I'm not kidding. I love this game to bits, and when on online multiplayer, that's when it really starts excelling. And I got this footage here because I wanted to show you some of the cool weapons in the game.
Twin shooter. Now you can shoot the same target twice. Astounding! What a shot!
There's loads of them, and they're really epic. And the horde mode allows you to have a currency system over there on the left, and then go to the chest, just like in Black Ops, the zombies mode. I mean, it steals a lot, and the map opens up the more waves you do and stuff. But it's fucking well made, this game. It looks beautiful. It doesn't slow down either, and this is not really busy footage. It gets crazy, like with the amount of zombies on the screen, and just the aesthetic and the whole sort of 1950s thing, and the commentator and the hilarious stuff that he comes out with, and just the random weird weapons you find, like this shotgun. It's like a traditional double barrel shotgun, and the boomstick noise on it is so satisfying. I always go back to this game for some reason. It just sort of calls out to me on my shelf. I'm like, I need to play Strange Brigade tonight, and I'm drilling in on my own in these zombie horde modes, because I love the idea of being on your own, you know, when playing a zombie horde game. So yeah, Divinity Original Sin. What a beautiful soundtrack on the opening of this game. Sorry to be blabbing all over it. Divinity Original Sin 1 is a huge staple for the channel. Everyone knows that. It's one of the biggest name AAA true split screen games out there, and it's so important that it's still doing that for us. So, you know, it was a Kickstarter game actually, interestingly enough. And I've done this pan around footage because look at the bloody detail in the character model. It's crazy, and the whole screen is a you know, you can use the other analog stick to swing the camera around. It's not fixed, it's not locked. The voice acting's amazing, the story's amazing. It's a classic pen and paper RPG, but really given this amazing skin of modern day, almost action RPGs, but it's not. So that's one thing I want to point out. It's turn-based, and that turns some people off, pun intended, but I love it. I absolutely think it's just awesome, and there's just so many traders, there's so many quests in the villages, there's so many side quests, there's so much mad stuff going on, there's so much uncovered story to go into. There's like 4 characters that you have on your roster. The inventory management's been streamlined since Divinity Original Sin 1, and I think I bought this like bearskin thing tonight, and I was like, I just need to have a look at that. I'm crazy about changing what I look like in a game and seeing like cool armors and stuff from outside the world. But yeah, I mean, look at that, look how cool that is. But you're tiny. I don't know how they've, you know what I mean, taken care of that amount of detail on that of granular level on the zoom. I'm sorry to keep going on about that, but I love the world as well. Look how cool this is. Look at this sea and this debris and all this interesting stuff to look at and do. The one thing I will warn people about, and don't think, oh, this looks fun, this looks nice. It's really difficult. Like crazily difficult, and it's got a really strong element system. Actually, I'm pointing that out as well. I came across some fire. I'm like, I want to get. If I walk across that, I'm going to die. And I'm thinking I want to do sort of a rain magic and get the fire out of the way. I was thinking that's kind of a little puzzle. Obviously not. They're like, no, you daft idiot, as if we'd make the game that easy. Fire just comes straight back in afterwards. Couldn't get through there. Probably a secret chest or something. But I was, still, I love the idea of being able to use an element against an element. I'm standing in oil in this combat here. That's really dangerous. If they throw a firebomb at me, the whole thing's going to go up. I'm covered in oil as well, so if I'm also caught on fire, it's going to have some sustainability on the. It's mad how that works. But be warned, this game kicks my ass all the time, and it loves doing this sort of should have saved, shouldn't you thing to you. It doesn't auto save, but which is good, because if it did, you'd be down a dead end with it all the time, and you'd be like, oh no, I've got to go from chapter 1 now because I'm naked and just got a wooden stick and I'm on level 6, I'm about to fight the final boss, and you know what I mean. So you need to like think, okay, I've done all right now, let's do a manual save. Interesting, and old school to do that. So Divinity Original Sin, brilliant game to have out for that quarter. All right, yeah, I know. Overcooked 2. I have to put it in. My channel is built on couch co-op games, and these games help me get the guys like you, the subscribers, because that's what brought you all in, I think, in the first place. Some of you, most of you anyway. And so I owe these games a lot, and I wanted to talk about Overcooked 2 because Jesus, I played this on my own for the first time tonight. It is so hard. I couldn't get nothing done. And what I didn't work out is that you can leave someone doing a task. So if you're chopping, you can then switch characters. You switch characters on the R buttons, and it just goes wing, and you're the other person. But I was just stuck being one person. I couldn't fathom why I would need to switch around. I'm like delivering anyway. It was a nightmare. I found it so hard. It was ridiculous, and so I wanted to point that out as a point, because one of the things I like about a good couch co-op game is that it's actually got a good single-player campaign. I think that should always be the case. Do you know what I mean? I know that's a really big ask, and Overcooked doesn't gel with me on my own. It's amazing with mates. Amazing. Okay, now, interestingly enough, this one's a bit of a curveball. So, Valkyria Chronicles 4. I'm gonna get some geekery going on now, because I am a huge fan of the third game. What pulled me into it was this art, and it's like this watercolor art, almost sketchbook color art. I'm like, wow, I need to find out what this game's about. And of course, it's got JRPG heritage, but it's completely different. So it's kind of like XCOM, but a bit more detailed with its RPG elements. And I know you think, Jesus, how can you get more detailed than XCOM with it? But this one really is like when the characters are under stress, they come out with these special moves. You have storylines that go down each of the characters, and it's got this really awesome sort of traditional map screen that you go to select. Everyone's got action points. The similarities with XCOM are unbelievable, but this has got a lovely sheen of cool JRPG-ness to it, and loads of cool stories behind all the characters, and it looks really good. I had 3. So what it came out on PlayStation 3, and then they remastered it. And they came out with this other one between this one, Valkyria. This has just got Valkyria Chronicles Remastered written on the front. So this is one, and then there's two, which is shit. It's terrible. Apparently, they tried to make it into a sort of third-person hack and slash, which didn't work. But again, we've got a really lovely. Put that down quietly, good. Don't bash that table. Lovely little art book. Love me art books, but this one's really good. This one's got some really detailed character designs in it, and everyone, and the tanks are amazing. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Tank Police manga film. Like, if you watch that again now, because I watched it as a kid, it's weird. It's a very weird film, but it's reminiscent of that for me. Everyone's crazy about their tanks, and the enemies have got really massive tanks, and there's like ships that are tanks. That it's mad. It's set in an alternate universe where there's still a Second World War kind of almost going on, but it's like the future, but it's not the future, because well, you can see, look at their armour. It's kind of heavy armour, but it's not medieval armour, but you have projectile weapons, and the lore's awesome. It's well worth a look. Holy shit, stop the press. It's Dead Cells. Let's put that down, because Coop's going to get a little bit serious now. This game blew me away. This game blew me away so much. Let's look at a bit of footage. Let me give you guys a little break from my voice. Yeah, my God, I mean, if you haven't seen it before, if this is the first time you've ever laid eyes on Dead Cells, this is how much I love the damn game. I bought it on, it came out on Switch a hell of a lot earlier than it got its PlayStation 4 release. This is a Metroidvania roguelike, by the way, from an independent studio that just came out of friggin' nowhere with one of the best indie games of the year. And I saw various articles about it because it's been on PC for a while, it's been on Steam for a hell of a long time, and you know, when an indie game's really good is when people just don't shut up about it when it's on Steam. There's one more of them coming up in a bit, but Dead Cells was one of the year's best surprises. It's going head to head for the best indie game with me, with something else that we're going to look at in a second. But man, it was a big year for sort of Metroidvania, Castlevania games, and Dead Cells is head and shoulders above a hell of a lot of its competition. There was one called Blood something, you have to forgive me, and it's like a Castlevania. There was The Messenger as well, which looked like a NES game. There were loads of them. But just looking at this, listening to this, seeing how it's been put together, I think it speaks for itself. It's so up my alley. It's absolutely ridiculous, and getting good at this game feels so satisfying. You know, awesome. Talking of awesome, Michael, yeah, I know you've been sitting there waiting for when I'm going to crack and start talking about this unbelievable game. I mean, it is unbelievable, and you know what, funny we're talking about Dragon's Quest 11, by the way. I was reading about it, and I was reading about the release day in Japan and what they have to do. You might know this, but they're not allowed to release a Dragon's Quest game in the week, because everyone doesn't go into work. In Japan, they don't go into work. They have to release it on a Saturday. That's mind-blowing for me, that's mind-blowing. Imagine doing that in the West, like Call of Duty's coming out, no one gives a fuck, do they? Why do I like it so much? Because it hasn't forgotten who it is. Do you know what I mean? It knows where it's from, and it knows why it's good. And it kept that format, and it kept that style with the combat brilliantly, and again, a little bit like, you know, some of the bigger games we've been talking about, like God of War or like Monster Hunter World. It's adapted incredibly well with the times, and come up with this lovely familiar feeling, but with all this new stuff going on in it. And when I talk about new stuff, I'm talking about the visuals of this game and the polish of this game. I'm just addicted to looking at the little enemies walking around. I mean, look at this guy, look at his little hammer. And who's that? Look at him. I catch myself just like, what the fuck are you doing? You're supposed to be finishing this game. There's like people in the street, there's people in the town, and I'm just like, what, that's you, that's what you do, that you're an NPC that does that? yeah, you are. Okay, I love the questing system as well. It's not too randomized. What I mean is you don't have to just hunt the bloody things down. There are JRPGs where there'll be really cool side quests that you just will walk straight past because the game doesn't advertise them well enough to you. And this does that incredibly well. It's sort of, you know, you don't have to be a scientist to play this game. And a lot of the Japanese play this before they go to bed. They all play it as a family, like a storybook. I think that's an adorable idea. Just the horse. Look at the colours on this horse. And by the way, there's no HDR on any of these videos because it doesn't carry over. I took it off all of them, but trust me, the HDR is blinding. And then I was mucking around with it tonight. I need to play this game more. I'm not further enough in it. Marco will notice that. He'll be like, yeah, I can see you're a filthy casual because you haven't got X, Y, and Z open up yet, and you're still doing horse races. But I need to give it more time, and it's you know, and that's why I think I swing towards Ni no Kuni's, because I put more hours into it. But I know this is going to pay off as well, you know, with giving it the time it deserves. Yes, Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight is so fucking good. Man, this is the other game I'm talking about that's competing with Dead Cells with me on indie game, Metroidvania game of the year. This is hauntingly, brutally, amazingly Dark Soulsy, Metroidvania-y, amazing. I mean, its darkness is so good, its brutality is amazing. Then it swings into these really sweet little nuggets with the story, and this insect aesthetic I'm obsessed with insects, especially drawing them. And this is just amazing. Check this out, hold on. You know, we need to listen to this lady a second. How cool is that? Everyone's got these like dark backstories to them, and this is top combat. This is top platform hack and slash combat at its best, but it doesn't lean on that all the time. Dead Cells is kind of, you know, combat full stop. But look! I found this like little station in the game. It's like an old stag beetle, and he's just like Dark Souls when you pull that fucking ladder down, and you just realise you saved yourself 2 hours and some hair follicles. It's like that, and it's like, oh my god, I can go back to the town now straight away. I know how to, you know, and then you can farming becomes a hell of a lot easier. It does stuff like that to you all the time, and just how quick that weapon is. And by the way, so I'm not going to include it, it's right at the end of the video, but I've been playing this game, and then I've got so used to this weapon. I'm like, this is it, this is cool, I can work with this is great. And it just dropped another weapon in front of me, and I'm like, oh my god, this changes everything. This changes like everything. This boss fight, he was this particular stage. I'm frightened. I'm always get frightened when there's a new boss. I'm like, oh, what do I do? Jump now, do this, what? And he look at this. Look, every hit he gets on me, and then I go back and I'm like, oh, I know what that jump means. I'm reading him now. I'm like, he telegraphs everything. And I'm like, no, that build does that, and I'm like ready for him. You know, I love that idea, but not cheap. Not cheap tricks, just mapping out how a boss works and giving you that opportunity to fill in the gaps. Do you know what I mean? And of course, yeah, I took him down to Chinatown. It felt amazing, but I was even avoiding him at the start. His head, he's like he's called the False Knight. I don't want to give too much away with this game because the bosses are amazing, and I don't want you to see them all because you should discover them for yourselves if you haven't played it. I think Sean, you're playing it at the moment, aren't you? You probably got well past me, but yeah, Hollow Knight. Fuck. What I mean, I'm at a dilemma about whether this is better than Dead Cells or not. I really am, because it feels like it's made for me. It sounds so arrogant, doesn't it? But it feels like everything in it is perfect for me, and that is, yeah. I'm gonna have to just dwell on that for a minute, and because what I'm gonna do in Q4, the final video, which is probably gonna come out after the weekend, guys, because I've got a bit of a busy weekend coming up. And it's also such a busy. There's some big games for that last quarter, and this September was mad. I mean, you know what we've got coming up in a second, but what a crazy couple of months for games, and the last quarter as well. So yeah, here he is. Here's our boy. God of War in this just made me feel like a smug twat for having a PlayStation 4, really. I even have got two mates in the UK who were like, I've just got a PlayStation 4 because SpiderMan's come out. And I'm like, are you mad? What, you didn't get one for Bloodborne and you didn't get one for God of War? And they're like, no, got to play Spider-Man. I'm like, okay, fair enough. But it's incredible. It's incredible. It's an incredible engine that the game works in. You know, it's I was so nervous about it. Everyone was, you know, and they did Sunset Overdrive. I knew that they could do a good Spider-Man game with having a game like Sunset Overdrive under their belts. You know, that kind of was, you know, the rails, Tony Hawk style sliding around everywhere. I knew that transition for those developers was not going to be that difficult for them, but it's the substance that this game gives you, the fact that it doesn't get boring, and that combat, that Arkham Asylum style combat, is really, really good. And it's really hard as well, because I let back in tonight. I hadn't played it for like 3 weeks. Let back in tonight. Thought, I know how this works. No, you don't, Coop. You don't know how it works. But I wasn't even spotting my energy going down, you know. And then it was just like, you're out. And I was like, I very rarely died on this game because I took it so damn seriously. I was absolutely gutted that happened. The chase scenes are really good. This is one here, and the crimes. I love that idea of the crimes going on. You had it in Arkham City, I think, didn't you? Where you would just deal with something. You'd hear about something and you'd go and deal with it. And I like that idea. That makes you feel like you are a superhero reacting to problems that are happening in a city. I think that's really cool. Do you know what I miss? Do you remember on GTA 4? They had you know when you stole a police car, a bit off track that you could go on the radio and get these crimes, and I thought that was fucking brilliant. I can't believe they didn't put that in 5. I just remembered that. But yeah, Spider-Man was a success. It made everyone jealous of our systems again after God of War. I mean, what a year we're having, and what an incredible game this was. And it's going down. It's going to make the finals for the Q4 finisher video, but you know, it's just damn cool, innit, to be owning a PlayStation 4 nowadays, especially with this year. This year, for me, has probably been my best gaming year so far. I was going to save that bombshell for the final, but this could be my best gaming year ever. I shit you not. Like, the stuff that's happened this year is blowing my freaking mind. Take it.